still need a catchphrase. We're 0 for 2.
I have one.
You have one?
I have another one this week.
Another one this week. Hopefully it'll be better than the last one.
You flip the pages, we do the rest.
No, it has nothing to do with dumb comic creators. That's even worse.
Maybe if I said it all together. Dumb comic creators. You flip the pages, we do the rest.
No, that makes no sense.
How would imply that you guys are reading it too?
Yeah.
They're just flipping the pages and you're reading it.
Yeah. What are we reading to them, describing the artwork?
We're doing artwork.
Mark is correct.
Okay.
Wait, Wolverine, Shaw's claws flew out of his hand.
Hey, you may not be a guest this week, but this is our intro.
I agree with Mark, though. So, yes, before we continue, we are Dumb Comic Creators. I am Eric Schwartz.
I'm Keegan Shiner.
And we are joined by our illustrious guest with great taste when it comes to catchphrases, Marc Von Ahnen.
Hey, Mark, you flip the pages. I'll do the rest. See, it's so good.
No.
Everyone laughs. It's really funny.
It is growing on me.
So does a fungus. We don't want that, though.
Okay. All right, Eric. You would know more about that than the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm a fun Gus.
Yeah, Mark, you're joining us today. You're not really even a guest. What are you doing here?
I don't know. I just came home and you two were in my house. Forced me to talk to you again.
That's true. Yep. Actually, Mark had some big, enormous news. He's making a movie with Sam Raimi based on his comic book. We're breaking it today.
That is not true. Okay. I feel like I owe you an explanation because I thought that's why you're like, let's talk about this on the podcast.
No.
And I felt really bad when I was like, oh no, like they're going to think this was something important. So the whole story.
For the record, I just want to say, for the record, I saw your post. It was very exciting, but I was just more like, who could we have on to hang out with? That was cool. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So okay. I'll tell you this.
Tell us why you were lying to Instagram.
And Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
So, so the story is this. When I first started, obviously, so again, I do the Vampire Shark comic. If you guys don't, for the listeners, they may not remember. So I do a Vampire Shark.
Full title is Nosferatu versus
Ahab Van Helsing versus Nosferatu Carcharodon. It just rolls off the tongue.
Episode 11 of our podcast, it was your first appearance, so.
Yeah.
It was where we talked about that.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with you guys.
Yeah.
We did a lot of fun having you.
What's up?
Remember, we were scooping out cereal from people's skulls.
Yeah, because you guys right away were like,
"You're that guy."
You don't want to talk about, and then
that's the first moment I knew I wanted to have you back on the podcast.
You're tested to see if I'm cool.
It was
and then one day you're just gonna hand me a skull with cereal in it, and like it's time to step up.
This guy gets it. This guy gets it.
What are you going to do with the skull I just gave you?
What, Count Chocula?
This guy gets it.
This guy gets it.
Okay, so tell us about the post.
So, short story long, I guess. I started making these comics, and I always thought it would be cool if it got turned into a movie. So I found Sam Raimi's production company address on I just looked it up. It's just right on the internet, so it wasn't hard to find. So after every time I made a comic, I would mail them to Sam Raimi's production company.
It seems smart.
Yeah, and I would always put I think you would like this. We should make a movie. Here's my, and I always would put in my email address and phone number, thinking, you never know.
He's gonna call.
Exactly.
And then you would sit by the phone. Yeah.
I walked into my boss's office and I'm out of here. I flipped some stuff on the table, and now I'm living in my dad's basement. So, poor decision making, really.
Each time, right? Each time you got
every time.
You go back to the same job
6 times. My last time I was like, "You're not coming back."
Your boss is like, "You're out of PTO this time."
Yeah, not only that, Sam Raimi would always send me cease and desist letters. So I don't know why I thought something was. No, I actually never heard anything back.
Okay.
So I never heard anything. So anyway, we just kept going through the motions. I kept making the comic, paying the money, or whatever. I mean, obviously, putting in the effort to make the comics. And then at one point, I had to move from Jamal to Gary, and then he posted the picture that, and you've probably seen it. I post a lot where it's Ahab in a boat with like a long stake, and then the vampire shark is coming out of it.
Yeah.
So he posts that. Like that was like how I would decide if I wanted to hire him. I said, "Can you draw? Just draw something, and if I like it, we'll move forward." And then he drew that, and I was like, "All right, we're in." So Gary drew that, and we started working. And then he posted it to his Facebook page. He's like, "Look what I'm working on! Like this is the new thing I'm on." So, like the next day, or maybe it was like late that night, I get a message and a friend request from this dude in Australia. And he was like, hey, like at first I was just going to ignore it because I thought it was spam.
Right.
And he was like, hey, do you, he's like, you wrote a comic book about a vampire shark? I was like, yeah, it's just something fun I did. And he's like, that's so cool. He was like super impressed. And like, I wasn't really thinking too much about it. Like I was like, yeah, I'm a big deal. That's how I kind of treated it.
Of course, yeah. Of course you would message me. Duh.
Yes, yeah. Like, why wouldn't you? Let me, autographs are $50. That's what I said to him.
Yeah.
So because I'm prone to just giving the comic away, like people because I never assume anyone wants to buy it. So I'm always like, you want a copy? You can just have it. Like, I'm always like, I'll message people all the time. Like, can I send them to you so you look at them? Just because I want people to see them, really. So I decided, I was like, well, I got to stop giving these away. So I was like, well, if you want to PayPal me, like, this is the amount and I'll send you them. He's like, yeah, I'm totally interested. And he was like, I see you like the movie Shoot 'Em Up. Have you guys ever heard the movie Shoot 'Em Up?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
With Clive Owen and
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti.
One of my favorite movies. I love that movie. I watch it. Like, I rave about Shoot 'Em Up, how it's the greatest movie ever made. And I have this ongoing joke where people are so sick of me just asking if they've ever seen it, because it's like I ask all the time. It's so he then says, I see you like the movie Shoot 'Em Up. And I was like, yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love that movie. He says, here's an interview with me talking to the director. And I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, wait, you know the director? And he said something. Then he brought up like the Meg books. The Meg, which is the giant shark.
Oh, yeah, I love the Meg. Love it.
Yes. Have you read the books?
No, I
haven't read the books. I didn't even know they were books. I thought that was just a movie.
Dude, it's a book series. There's like 5. They're crazy. Like, the movie really did not do justice to the book for Meg, which is
the movie
probably
didn't
not
do
what you
justice
thought
to
anybody
movies.
would say.
The movie didn't do justice to movies.
I liked it. I just like seeing giant sharks. That always makes me happy.
You saw, not spoiler alert, there was 2 giant sharks in this film.
Well, there's like there's a couple in in the books. You keep going through the books, and you get all sorts of crazy sea monsters. So it's like, yeah, the whole thing is there's all these animals, like sea creatures, are stuck at the bottom of the ocean, and they finally find a way to get out. So,
is it also sponsored by the Chinese Tourism Board?
Probably. Now the books weren't, strangely enough.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. So anyway, he then tells me, he's like, you want to hear my interview with the guy that wrote Meg? And I was like, what? Yes. So then I was really excited. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I was like, who is he? And then he was like, have you ever thought about making the vampire shark into a movie? I was like, well, sure, but it's not like I know how, like I don't have those skills or those connections outside of mailing them to random addresses I found on the internet. Outside of that, that's all I have. So he's like, have you ever thought about doing this? And I said, I guess. He's like, I'd like to work on it. He's like, would you like me to help you make this?
Nice.
I said, yeah. I was like, sure. And I think he told me he wanted me to write up like a treatment or something.
Okay.
And so, like, I just kind of sort of broke down what I thought this is what happens in the comics. This happens here. This happens here. This happens here. This happens here. Blah, blah, blah. And I sent him to him. And he was like, that's not what I need. He's like, I need a treatment. I'm like, and then, so I sent him something else. And finally, he was like, He's like, that's not it either. And I was like, I don't know what this guy wants. Like
a breakdown.
So yeah, I have no idea. I was just like that's all I have. There's nothing else to it. It's just a shark that gets wings and eats people. That's the whole story.
Right.
So then I have a friend who went to film school, and he was in, I don't know if I'm supposed to say who, but he was in somebody's wedding. That's a pretty big deal now.
Oh, wow.
So here's a hint.
That's very descriptive.
Yes, I know. His last name is Gunn, and he directed Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So anyway, so I don't know if you could piece it together from that. But anywho, I forgot.
Megan Gunn. Megan? Oh, no, it's a guy.
Tim Gunn, the guy from
Tim Gunn.
Yes.
Oh, you weren't supposed to say.
I don't know. He never told me not to say.
Wasn't Tim Gunn the guy on Project Runway?
Yes. The reason I brought him up is Tim Gunn is in this season of Guess Who Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
Okay.
So I had his name in my head. So is Morgan Freeman, which made me laugh. Morgan Freeman narrates an episode, and it's actually really funny. We're getting off subject.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I don't know if you noticed. I got off subject. Anyway, this doesn't have anything to do with vampire sharks or eating cereal out of human heads, so we don't cover this. Anywho, so I go to my friend, and I'm like, I don't know what this guy wants. I was like, he wants something, but I don't know what to give him. And he was like, well, that could just mean, that's like a blanket statement. It can mean anything.
Yeah.
So then he starts rummaging through the story, and he like really builds, like fleshes this whole thing out into a crazy, like there's like a murder mystery, and it's just a ton of stuff in it. Like he just came up with all this stuff. Like just added so much. So we decided we were just going to do an outline. We made an outline. We just, this happens here, leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
And so we just kept moving forward. Well, finally the guy messages me, and he was like, time out. Who is this other guy that's on board? I said, well, he's my friend. I didn't know what to give you. So I reached out to him, and he's helping me get this going. And he was just like, well, I didn't know a third person was going to come on board. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you out. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to give you what you wanted, I guess. And so then he decided, he was like, well, if he's in, then I'm probably going to be out.
Right. Of course. Because people like that are always very fussy about that. But what did he contribute anything to begin with?
That guy? No, he pretty much just gave us the idea to start writing the movie.
Right, but he never sent you anything about the movie, or
no? I mean, he sent me interviews he did. Or no, he didn't. He just asked if he could be. And I was like, if you can get this made, I'm all for it. But whatever. You're not gonna. And then when the other guy came along, so we just decided to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So we just kept writing it, and just okay, and then we would rewrite it. And we've been working on it for probably 2 years, because it's been a long undertaking.
Yeah.
Where it's just oh, this doesn't work here. We got to change this, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, it seems pretty crazy that he would be like, yeah, let's make a movie together. You do all the work, and I'll see if I can get this done. I didn't know what he, to this day, I'm not sure what he was asking. I didn't mean it I felt kind of bad, because I felt like it was one of those things where it's what's that Mark Zuckerberg story where he's going to make the Social Network and then cuts those other guys out and does it himself. That wasn't my plan, and I felt bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Facebook of Vampire Shark movie. So anyway, we kept moving along. So we just decided, let's write this ourselves.
Right.
And he was like, what we can do is we can try and release it into contests. Maybe people will like it and pick us. You never know. What do we have to lose? So we said, yeah, let's do that. So we just kept moving forward.
Right.
And we eventually got a finalized script where it's finalized, but we're still tweaking stuff. And he did this thing where you send it off to a studio,
Query letters.
Read it. Well, it's like these people will read it and then they'll tell you what they think they need to change or what.
Script doctors.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, but
Okay.
probably. So they sent. So he said we get a couple of those. Well, then one day he's like, "Hey, I just found this link where we could send it to Sam Raimi's assistant."
Nice.
He's like, "Sam Raimi assistant will read it, and then he'll kind of tell you what you think." And I was like, "Dude," like, because in my head it's like one of those things where it's like you just kind of think to yourself like, what if it's one of those things where he reads it, he's like, you gotta look at this, and then like that's what starts the ball. You never know.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
it happens to other people, but yeah, I haven't had that happen to me yet. But I figured we gotta at least try. I was like, let's try.
Yeah.
So like or at the very least, let's just hear what this guy says. So anyway, we have the meeting yesterday. So finally we have this meeting, and he calls, and the first thing this guy says is he's like, "You guys," he says to me, "You guys know I'm actually already familiar with this story." And we were like, "What? How?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, Sam Raimi has the comics. He shows them to everybody. He's like, he takes them out and shows them to people, and he puts them back in the sleeves and saves them." I was just like, "What?" Like, it was just surreal. Like, it was like one of those things where I'm like, I can't believe A, he actually got them, and B, he's showing them to people. Where it's just
That's
like
awesome.
That's insane. It's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
I know. Thank you. So it was one of those things too, where like people were making fun of me. They were like, "You know, this is probably just some guy who's like just catfishing you for money." Like, I'm like, it's not impossible. And that's the first thing he says. Like, well, this guy has to be legit, unless I never told him I mailed him those scripts. So, you know.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's how you can tell.
It was really cool. Like, it was just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it was like I was like kind of gushing to him at one point because I told him in the movie or in the story, Ahab, of course, loses his hand and then like a leg and an eye. He keeps losing body parts. And I was like, you know, that was a direct homage to Ash, like, because he lost his hand. And to me, I was like, I just want to keep going and see like what happens. Like, you lose a hand first, but then you lose an eye and a leg and just keep pushing it. And at first he was like, well, I really liked how you incorporated that in the story. And I was like, well, I just want to let you know how like thrilled I was to hear Sam like these, like Sam Raimi like these. And he was like, well, I'll have to tell him next time I see him. So it's one of those things too, where I was like kind of happy. It's like, now you have to bring it up to him. Because I imagine it's Sam Raimi will be like, maybe we should make this movie.
Of course.
I don't know why Sam Raimi's Morgan Freeman, but
maybe when he wants to make a movie, he goes low with his. We need to.
He goes into his sales pitch voice. He goes, producers. Or, I don't know what to tell you.
So that's your sort of Sam Raimi story.
That is, and it's kind of funny because it was one of those things where I was just like so thrilled to just hear that Sam Raimi got them and showed them. Because he said, like, that was the first thing he said, he actually shows them to people.
That's awesome.
And I was like, holy crap. And and so I went to like Insta, because I was just so like excited. I wasn't even thinking. And now all these people are like, so you're making a movie? Like, well, that's why I thought you guys reached out to me. And I was like, so sure. I'd be like, oh, well, no, we're not really. And you're going to be like, oh, Mark's a liar. And then just hang up on me. Every issue.
Yeah,
every episode
you did jump on like right away and we're like, hey, by the way, not making a movie. Is that what this is about?
Hey, Mark, you still lying to America?
It's like, no, man, we're just friends. It's good.
No, I appreciate that.
Wait, I do want to ask you, what's it like going from comic book to screenplay? Is it like a different writing process, or are you copying directly?
Because I like, I've tried to write screenplays before. I find it very tedious.
Yeah.
Because it's like you got to be at this. You got to hit tabs so many times for this. I don't understand why it has to be the way it is. It's just such a pain. So what I would do really is Jeff would kind of be like, we need to do this. Just write this scene this week. Like, write these scenes. He'd give me like a list of scenes, and then I would write them. But I would just write them as prose. Like, I would just write them like a novel or something. So I was like, you know, this is what's happening. And I'd the dialogue said by so and so. So I never probably even wrote it as a script. I just wrote it as prose, and then sent it to Jeff.
And then he kind of fixed it.
Yeah, well, then he incorporated the script. 90% of it he had to redo anyway. There's more than one night where he was just like, "I'm sorry I asked you to do this. Like, I didn't like any of this."
I see.
I'm going to change this part of you. You just pointed to everything there is. Yeah, that's the part I'm going to change.
Is that How to Train Your Dragon reference?
Yes, that is.
Oh, I haven't watched that movie forever. I got laughed at a party once because I said Kung Fu Panda was the best movie trilogy of all time, and I meant it. Like, I wasn't lying. I was like, seriously think.
Well, let's name all the movie trilogies.
Shrek.
Star Wars.
Oh, Shrek has more than 3 though.
Shrek has more than 3.
Star Wars has 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin Powers. The Matrix.
Lord of the Rings.
Hobbit.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Bill and
Twilight has 4. I've never seen it, but it has 4.
That doesn't count then.
Yeah.
Shoot 'em up is 1.
Trilogies.
Strict trilogies, yes.
John Wick is at a trilogy right now, but I think there's going to be a 4th.
They're already making the 4th, yeah.
Doesn't count.
They're also going to do spin-off films too.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Halle Berry, I think, is getting one.
Yeah, I think that's why she introduced her, because she was barely in the 3rd movie.
There's a lot of that where it's just like Lawrence Fishburne was in it for some reason.
He was in 2 of the movies though. He was in because I think Keanu Reeves like, I want my friend Lawrence to be in there, and they're like, fine.
Well, actually, it's because it's another version of the Matrix.
Yeah.
And the next Matrix movie is going to combine all the worlds together.
I really
Sweet.
hope that.
Bill and Ted, John Wick, and the Matrix. They're all connected.
Oh,
The
Bill and
Keanu
Ted
Reeves universe.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted is also
his character from Toy Story 4.
Everyone wants to be the Avengers, and this is the Keanu Reeves
That's
Marvel.
true.
You think Keanu Reeves will do a movie just starring himself every single time? He's like, hello. He goes, hello again. Hello.
The League of Extraordinary Keanus.
Yes.
Yes.
So what you were getting ink back for Death Maze?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about the inks for Death Maze 3. So I got pencils by Maurice Buckley. He's a New York City artist. And then I asked 3 different inkers to do the inks on these pencils, which is something I'd never really done and still don't know exactly. Like, this is one where we're all going to need to look at this and see what we think of the different versions, because inking is subtle, I think, the differences, and also inking between the pencils and the inks, there's like a big difference in like what you get, so
yeah,
because
inking can really seem to change the look of everything too.
Right, it's like they go over the lines, but they also kind of they change, they will change what it looks like, I guess. Do you get pencils from your artist, or do you get inks?
I get normally I just ask for a page, so I just get like the finished one. Although my new comic, the one I'm working on, that's the humor comic, and I think did I send you one of the jokes? I thought I sent you guys one of the pages. I can't remember if I did or not, but if I did, but normally I just say, this is what I'm looking for the page. And there's times where it's like, oh, that could have had some inks to it. So it's actually been a lot more difficult with this one, because I've learned, like, it's not like I'm doing highbrow humor that you really have to think about.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things too where it's like they'll send over the picture and I'm like, that's not what I needed. Like, that doesn't work because it's not funny. Like,
yeah,
I know you think it's like, I know you did what I asked, but like, that's not how I need it. I don't know. It's way more specific when I'm trying to make a joke, I guess.
Comedy is much more difficult, I think, too.
These
are supposed to be funny too. So like,
yeah, comedy is hard, especially when, people are always getting mad at you for doing it.
I don't know how to be funny.
Those look really good, though. He's got...
So this is inking number 1, and this was $25 a page. All these artists were on Fiverr, and I'm not saying their names for this broadcast in case we don't like them. So the big thing here, and I probably should have caught this and asked him to change it, but the beard is like a full beard, and it's supposed to be just mutton chops, which you'll see on the other inks. It has changed. It's correct. So this one was kind of a different, and I also think these are like a little less detailed than the others. I don't know. How should we do this? Do you want to see like compare page
go through
1?
all 3 of them, and then and then we can go back and compare them. So just like, because again, like just from, I agree with Mark. Like just initially looking at this, like I think this is brilliant art, but he also had brilliant pencilings to go above too. So
okay.
Sure. So we can't really compare
that one in the top left there. I really like that artwork, and I think the shadow, the inking on it looks really good. Like the shade on the face.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, I would not say this is bad at all. No, I was actually really happy with all 3. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for insults.
Well, here they come.
We're all going to straight with our pinkies out and talk in like British accents and say, oh, look at the proletariat try to draw.
Yeah, true. Okay.
All the insults will be personal, so don't even worry about your artwork.
Number 2.
This looks exactly like the first one.
No, it's darker. The mutton chops are different. And like the checkerboard is more prominent. Like I didn't see that the first time.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't see that either. And the mutton chops are different. Yeah.
Yeah. And
this is like it looks like a radiator there.
Yeah,
that looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shading on that. So I think that looks really nice.
Yeah, this character is like invisible, so it's like a cell phone in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's like an invisible character that is in this panel.
They're easiest to draw.
Are they supposed to be the Fantastic Four?
Kind of. They're like hipsters.
They were fantastic before it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and wait, let me make sure this is and this is page 2 of that artist. So the shading's still pretty good on the face, I think.
Yeah, I think the shading's really good.
It's a different type of shading. Like the other one looked way more dark, but that still looks good. Like I like that. Like they're both good.
Yeah. I think that this artist, I had to correct the Ernie's hair because he had like, for page 2 for some reason he had like a full beard, and so I was like, hey, that's because on page 1 it was correct, but on page 2 it had changed. So
man, you just can't win with that beard.
These need to, be correct. And and this one also has that weird spotlight, which in the final panel here. There was also stuff on the screens in the pencils, but pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Okay.
It looks exciting. I mean, I'd be excited. I'm excited to read this.
Yeah, and then the final artist. These are the final artists.
This is the only one with the mutton chops, not dark.
Right, which I thought was interesting and like gave the colorist more options.
He looks like this one. He looks like dirtier too. Like I don't know what it is about it, but it's like. Yeah. I really like this. I think this might be my favorite, to be honest with you.
I agree, actually. I think this one it looks the best just because he looks more worn down, like if anything. Like
yeah, like it's gritty almost.
Yeah.
I also think the checker pieces look better too, just how they're inked. I think they look more detail in them as well.
Like checker pieces, yeah. Instead of just circles. So page 2.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think the room has gotten more dramatic in this.
Behind the guy, you like. I never like. I think in the past I just remember kind of standing there, but now it looks like he's throwing stuff like out of frustration almost.
And I think it's the lighting. The lighting is better in this.
Is it the big guy supposed to be the invisible guy in the very bottom panel? Like the guy in the chair.
This guy, it was the invisible guy. They're all getting electrocuted.
Okay. That's how they defeat them.
That was the invisible guy.
That's how they defeat them.
Yeah, that's how they defeat them. This comic is a lot more word based than, obviously, because it takes place in 2 locations. So,
they all look really good though, man. Mm-hmm. There's none of these I would be.
Right. So then it comes down to style, right? And like your style choice.
I think personally the last one is best.
Yeah.
But they're all good. I would not badmouth any of these artists. I think the third one is just it just feels dirtier. That guy
one has more detail, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was disappointed how good all 3 of these came out with because it gave us less to talk about today.
It's also a lot more easy to decide something when a couple are shit and one's good.
Right. But the moral of the story is based on your budget, you can still get really good inks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's from what I've learned. I mean, I think there's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
That is looking to create. I mean,
the 2 of them were $25 per page, and the one that you both like was $60 a page for the which with tip and taxes it was $70. So there's definitely a price difference with the quality one,
Yeah.
25 versus 60 is a big difference, but
you can see it on the page. But like I said, I wouldn't badmouth any of these people. I would hire
Oh, for sure.
The Worth It winner, I honestly don't know who it would be. Just if we reduce that one YouTube channel, the 3 artists at 3 different price points or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would say the Worth It winner is, just because none of them are bad. So,
if I had to choose this comic, this one with just based on this last panel, I don't really care for the spotlight situation, and the flashlight is weird, but
go to the last page. I want to see the spotlight on the last one. I don't think
on this one.
Yeah.
So it's not a spotlight in this one. It's actual shadows, and the flashlight has more illumination effect on the rest of the room.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Where they're sitting in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas the other version of this, it's still kind of light in the room, I think. It's just
it looks like there's a light shining on him.
Yeah.
And then he's shining a light, which would be superfluous.
Right. And both of these did that. Both of these other artists did that version. Yeah, but it's all subtle, and it really depends on your budget, I think.
Yeah, they're all good, yeah.
Yeah.
You could see the money in the last one too, though.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so the point of this, just so everyone is clear, was not to shit on 2 artists and say, ooh, this expensive art. It was literally just to look at the difference,
We were trying to prop up 3 artists, not pin down 2.
Yeah, that's exactly
what that's what we did.
Mm-hmm. We have failed our mission. We have failed the city, in the words of Arrow.
Hey,
honestly,
we are supposed to do everything but turn the page, so that's part of our job.
Nope, not the catchphrase.
It's such a good catchphrase, though.
No, we'll workshop it. We'll make it better.
Eric, do you know what else we have this week?
I don't know what else we have this week.
We have your first 2 comic pages done.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Ever.
I'm so proud of you, Eric.
Mark, last week we talked in great detail about the draft pages that this artist made for Eric, where he basically did both pages fully and then sent it for an ask. which made us feel kind of awkward asking him to change anything because he had already drawn it, you know?
Yeah.
So Eric hasn't seen this yet. Eric, let's take a look, right?
Yep.
Okay. So page 1.
Mm-hmm.
So panel by panel, Mark, give us a rundown of what you're seeing.
Okay, he's getting out of the car. He's walking. He's throwing the cup down. The cup is in the ground. He's looking up. He's holding the cup again.
Can you scroll down?
And then they're skywriting, asking not to litter. So he read that and picked up the cup for littering.
Oh, that's what you're seeing. That he read it first?
I did read it first.
Ooh, wow. Okay, page 2.
It's 9:50. He's getting into work. He makes a joke with the lady, or it looks like a lady.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was like an old man, but it's a lady. And I think it's like an aggressive friend.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't tell. I'm trying to figure, because at first it looks like he's screaming at him, so I thought he was like the angry chief.
Okay.
But then they look cool in two panels down. So maybe they're just buddies. No, he's mad. He's definitely mad.
Yeah.
So there was some sort of confrontation going on here.
Good. All right. So that reads correctly, right, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to page 1, because that has issues. So again, we got this page from him. It was like, here's the draft page. Any changes? And we were just like, you drew this whole page with minus the shading that you're seeing, but it was pretty much exactly this. So, yeah. So yeah, it's supposed to be not a cop car, and he's supposed to be old and bald, not wearing a hat. He does throw this cup, but it's meant to be like a superhero has come and picked up the cup for him and put it back in his hand, which doesn't read here at all, you know?
No, I thought he picked it up. That's why I was going to say how I would personally do this panel, or the layout is have him throw the cup down and then have him we already know he threw the cup down, so having him see without the cup seems like we already know he doesn't have the cup.
Yeah.
Then it should be, dear citizens, don't litter, yada, yada, yada. And at first I thought he was picking it up, so I would have had him lean down and pick up the cup. I do like the face. I'll tell you one thing, because you could tell like he like, oh, whatever. You know, I threw a cup down. In the second one, he's very annoyed. So if somebody's putting the cup in his hand, you would almost...
I mean, if there were motion lines here, I think it might be a lot better. Like even just like
a blur
going over these panels, like
you need like a flash, like
it's something
blur.
that the colorist might be able to do for you, Eric. Like,
I in my mind's eye, I pictured like him like holding, just having his hand out, and the cup just like teleporting back into his hand somehow.
Right.
Which
this almost is, but it's not quite there. Yeah.
And and I also don't want to badmouth any artist, because I think there's definitely it's also really hard, I think, to convey exactly what we're thinking or wanting on the page sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think he did a good job. And like I said, I could, with no dialogue, I could very easily understand what's happening. Like, except for the fact I didn't realize somebody was putting the cup back in his hand.
Right, but that is really like a big part of why this page is here.
I know. So
yeah. But I understand what you're saying. Like, we're not trying to go after the artist either.
No, I know. Yeah,
and especially because page 2 is like perfect.
Page 2 is done well.
Yeah, page 2 is really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, this would all be about how
it comes down to like we used Fiverr. Revisions are like costing him time and money, and us time or money. And, and he didn't give us like a rough sketch to like even consider like the layout of these panels, which gives us liberty to kind of like critique the layout of the panels in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, because if we'd seen this and we'd said like, hey, it's not reading correctly. Like you can't tell somebody's putting that cup back in the hand. You know, we would have fixed it before he drew it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think his face got a little better this time, Eric, too.
Yeah, I think, he looks very expressive. Like you could clearly see he goes from happy to sad or angry right there.
Yeah.
In those two panels, which I really liked.
Yeah. So anyway, not quite what we're looking for, and this is only artist number 1 for your tests. So
I plan on testing 2 more, so we're waiting on.
But if we end up going with this guy, we'll just have him redo 1, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course,
Mark.
yeah. I liked it. I do. I'm excited to read them.
And you said that you had artists working on your next comic?
Well, I've been so I'm working on my next comic, Hilarity. That's the one with Wes, who he's on the cover of everything, and you bought everything to redo your bathroom, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's in my bathroom right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is, or just the stuff you bought?
No, he is, yeah.
He's in both.
Oh, he said he didn't want to hang out tonight, so now I'm
we quarantined together. So,
yeah. Oh, that sounds like a romantic comedy.
Yeah, my wife loves it.
So
I want to cut off society. I want to cut off everyone else in society with you.
Oh. I have one friend who never wants to do anything, and he never goes anywhere. And he told me, he's like, quarantine is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's like, now I don't get asked to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. Like, he's so happy.
That's great.
But yeah, so I'm trying to do this comic, and I will say, one of them I'm getting is
Keegan.
It's this dude from Argentina, and I don't speak Spanish. So it was really difficult to jump back and forth between translating from English, which I think he speaks English too, so he just made it harder for me. That's what I found out at the end. But he did, like, I don't want to show it to you yet because once I get the dialogue in there, I'll send it to you guys, and I probably wouldn't show it on here because it's like a big story that I'm really excited about. And it's like one that I really want people to see, like when I release the comic, like almost like build up for, I guess.
As all one piece.
Yeah, but I had this idea for this character that I thought was funny, and I just said to him, "Can you draw? It's like a Batman character, but instead of a bat, it's a dog." And he drew like this really tough looking guy, like just really cut super, and he had like a dog head, and it was really good. Like his artwork was incredible, and I just said to him, yeah, I like it, like that's really not like awesome, but that's not what I wanted, like a dog mask, like he sees through the eyes, like because his dog man is his name. And the guy's like, oh, okay, I get it. He's like, here, and he sends it again, and the artwork was just phenomenal, like it was amazing. And so then I had this other story, which was like going to be okay, I'll show you. Okay. Are we sharing these? So this one, I don't know that this one works. I may not.
Oh, do you not want me to share it? I'm sorry.
No, you can share it. I just didn't know. I'm just going to change what I'm talking about now because this is a different guy.
So which one? This one?
No, he's not. The guy I'm talking about is not in any of these.
Oh, okay. All right.
This looks like Beauty and the Beast.
It is. So the idea is this is like in Beauty and the Beast, they all turn human again. Mm-hmm. So you have the candle, and he turns back into that guy. And then you have the pot, but then you have the cup with the chip out of his head.
Oh.
And
now he has a hole in his head.
Yeah. So it's just this giant hole in his head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was sense. The joke there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people get it. Okay, so this is obviously. I get it. Read. I'll let you read the dialogue. This is.
It's actually too blurry to read. If you can.
Okay. It's supposed to be. My idea with. Huh?
Yeah. Green Lantern?
Yeah, it's a Green Lantern. But I thought of this when they were doing all the whole different, the different types of lanterns. Like at first it was the one that ran on will, and then there was fear, and then anger.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized there's never one that ran on spite. So he's a spite lantern.
Nice.
And his whole oath is, you broke up with me because I didn't have money or a job, but now I'm a superhero. Are you impressed now, Lisa? So that's like the whole joke is he's only being a superhero out of spite, which I thought was funny. I don't know if it is.
That's awesome.
I hope at one point does the poem, what was it? Roses are red, violets are blue. Why'd you leave me, Lisa? What'd I do?
I can do that. And this one's pretty self-explanatory.
Why Groot can't masturbate?
I'm going to spoil the punchline. I am Groot.
That's it.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners.
Because he's rubbing two sticks together.
Yeah.
Which, when I realized that, I was like, oh, that would be bad.
Too much friction.
Yeah, that's how you start a fire. And the guy, fun story, the guy who drew that said to me, don't put my name on this.
Really?
Yeah. So I've had one person ask me not to put their name on it.
That's crazy.
Why did
you working with different
artists? Of his artwork? He's like, I just couldn't get the fire right. It just didn't look good. Is that why?
I think it was because he just doesn't draw stuff like this. He's I thought this was going to be a more family-friendly comic. I didn't know I was going to be drawing Groot whacking off.
Are you working with different artists?
Yeah, I thought it would be that was I always wanted to kind of just have a different style for every different story.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that's 3 different artists there. Plus I thought when you push it on social media, I always tag the artists. So I thought to myself, well, if you have like 15 different artists, you can push it. So that was sort of the idea. But no, the one guy that's doing this really amazing artwork was out of Argentina.
Yeah.
And he only wanted to be paid by Western Union.
Oh.
Which I've never done before. And I was trying to get it. And it just didn't work. And eventually he was like, well, I set up a PayPal. And I was finally able, like, it was one of those things where it's said in, like, big letters, like, do not send this to people you don't know. And I'm like, am I going to be scammed? Like, is he going to, like, I didn't know what information, like, I guess it would be really unsafe of Western Union to send people your, like, checking account numbers and routing numbers, like, give them that information. So I didn't know, but.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I didn't end up, but we just did PayPal, and
that works.
Like if he was scamming me, he was going the wrong way because he put in all the work. Like
before he got paid.
Yeah, like he did it. Like he put in all the work.
That's how he sucks you in.
And
That's
I
how
guess.
he gets them.
And then scam me out of the agreed upon amount. So
you just got.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how scams work, but I'm pretty excited about that one because
that's cool. Yeah, I work with lots of artists in Argentina. They're really, really good.
That's what I was talking about earlier, where it's like just seems to be a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
That just want to be able to be like seen, I guess. They're just trying to, so you can find really good creators.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, the creator of my main comic is Argentinian. Argentinian? Yeah. So
from Argentina.
Argentinian.
Argentinian.
You know how much PlayStations cost there? They're like $1,200 American to buy.
What?
Yeah.
Did he want to get paid in a PlayStation? He's like, you can keep your money. Just send me a PlayStation.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. This actually is true. He did say that to me, and I looked it up. So like PlayStations are like $400 here, and it's still like $800 to ship to Argentina, right? So it comes out actually cheaper than buying a new one there. Isn't that weird?
Wait, so no, because so $400 to buy it here and then $800 to ship it there.
Yeah,
that's the most expensive shipping I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
it's bizarre. Yeah.
Why are they so expensive?
You know how much the games cost? $136 each, American.
Well, can't they just download them?
I don't know, but
you
it's
know how
still
much it costs to download stuff for free there? Surprisingly expensive.
No, I mean, I think even the PlayStation Store has them that expensive.
It's like,
it has to be importing. Like,
yeah,
they must have.
So I did some digging, and PlayStation 4s cost $800 American there. You can't even get like a good deal on a used game system.
So wait, PlayStation 1s cost more than a PlayStation 4?
PlayStation, like the new PlayStation. Like if you bought a new PlayStation, what are they on now?
they're on
5.
number 4.
5.
Well, they're
5
about to release 5.
5
Okay.
in November, yeah.
Yeah. So Luis
that's what they-
like asked me, "Hey, can you buy a PlayStation and ship it here?" Because a lot of people do that there. They buy them in America and then ship it because it ends up being cheaper than buying it new, which is just bizarre. But
So it costs you $1,200 to get a PlayStation to him?
it would cost $1,200, which is like a whole comic like budget, right? It's like I could buy that and ship it to him and then get a comic in return.
Is that what you end up doing?
No.
I don't believe this. I think you're pulling our leg on the shipping. There's no way shipping costs $800.
Look it up. It's ridiculous because I looked it up just to be like, if he really needs a PlayStation that bad, like, I guess I could try this, but then it's the shipping that kills you. It's just a lot of money.
That is weird.
It's weird that like Sony can't ship PlayStations there for less than 12, like selling them at $1,200. That's the weird thing.
Gas costs there, just like anything.
I don't know. But you know what they can do? They can go to Antarctica anytime they want to.
Well, that's what's important.
It's just a little ferry ride.
I wonder, because he was talking to me and he was telling me about how, like, there's all these taxes taken out and like he has to pay all these fees. Like that's why he wanted to do Western Union. So
yeah. That's
yeah.
true.
So I wonder if
there's usually like a conversion fee when you're going to a different country. PayPal itself takes out a fee, but it shouldn't be that much.
The way he was explaining, like Western Union wouldn't do this, but everything else would. So
it's really not that much though. It's like a credit. It's like if you used your credit card in another country, it's like $1 or $2 per transaction. Hey, Mark, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, I had fun.
I'm still not convinced of this. I'm still looking up the prices. I think you're so pulling our leg. And I'm going to feel bad because Mark's going to hang up and be like, he was lying to us, Mark. And it'll be too late.
While we're on.
I just want the attention to be taken off of my lies for the week. So.
Here, I'm sharing my screen right now. For anyone listening in, Eric is going to read what I searched for, and then he's going to read for the first result. Okay?
Okay.
All right. What did I search?
PlayStation Argentina's cost $1,100. That's not my question, though. My question is, how much does it cost to ship something there?
Okay.
Wait, look at that. Ship from the U.S. to Argentina, scroll up.
That's myus.com. That's not a real thing.
That says $46, $54. You got yourself ripped off, dude. Okay, so according to myus.com,
DHL.
it is $49 to ship a 7-pound budget economy item to there.
No, where'd you find that?
That's myus.com.
No. It's $286.
When you saw that it was like $2,000 or whatever, were you trying to overnight it to Argentina from Boston?
Yeah.
Because I imagine that was expensive.
That would be expensive. But
that's not what I was doing. Look, it's still $300 on DHL.
But I'm saying that's cheaper than $1,200. You probably save money.
Yeah. Compared to $1,200, that's a bargain.
Yeah,
but the regular fee is $400
to anybody just because it's such a good deal. Based off what I've been informed before.
Yeah. We should do a black marketplace.
Wait. So it's $400 for the PlayStation and another $380 to send it.
That's so less than to send it to Argentina by itself.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying it's expensive.
I'm just saying, Keegan, you're a liar, and your pants are probably on fire right now.
Are they? Oh, are they on fire?
Are they on fire? Does Groot have a companion now?
I am Groot. Yeah.
Why Keegan can't masturbate? That's gonna be the next one.
Yep.
Mark, you've been a great guest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun.
It's always a pleasure when you come on.
You do the
I had a lot
flipping.
of fun.
No,
I'm glad I could clear up that with America, my lie to him. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Great.
It's gonna be funny though. Probably actually funny. 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have to have you back on. It's like, so I lied about being a liar, and Sam Raimi is.
Yeah. Hey, if you end up making a movie with Sam Raimi, please come back on.
Oh, I'll have my people see if I have time. They'll reach out to you.
Good.
At that point, you'll have sunglasses on all the time, no matter what.
Oh, that'd be so cool. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. That was really nice of Mark to lie for you, about saying that the catchphrase was good. That was really nice of him.
I think the catchphrase was good.
No.
It wasn't nice of Mark to lie. It was nice of Mark to really tell the truth. Say what the people are thinking. We've already
established that Mark is a liar and that you're a liar.
Look, we're dumb comic creators.
The only one who's honest is me.
We're dumb comic creators. You flip the pages, we'll do the rest. It's so good.
It's so bad.
Especially when you say it to someone, Like,
no,
hey, Eric,
it's just
you flip
bad.
the pages, I'll do the rest. It just sounds so fun.
So bad.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Okay. Well,
hey, did you read any comics this week?
I did read comics this week. I picked up a new comic book series.
You know what? I didn't read a comic this week. And from now on, I think we're going to only expect each other, one of us, to read a comic. How's that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Okay. We'll only review one comic per week. Maybe we could both read the same comic.
Do you want to do that?
That might be pushing it.
We could do that. We'll talk about it, maybe.
We'll talk about it, yeah. You know what? If you're listening to this and you think that that's a good idea, I've put a questionnaire online. So go fill that out, okay? Mm-hmm. So Eric, what comic did you read?
I read the comic called Phantom Seer. It's a new comic having just started.
Hold on.
August 30th.
You're just going to let me get away with that with my questionnaire online somewhere?
Yeah. Why would I care?
Okay. Well, don't you think our listeners want to know where the questionnaire is?
They can find it. There's the internet.
Okay. Well,
okay. Check all the usual spots. Check the Facebook page. Check the Patreon.
Don't tell them to look for it.
It'll be on one of those three. You can
Then I actually have to make one. No, don't tell them where to look.
I don't know.
I'm just mad that you didn't try and call me out there.
Okay, I tell you what. We're going to whisper into 3 different eggshells.
Because if
across the world, and then so every single time you guys crack open an eggshell, I want you to put it to your ear and see if that's the one we whisper into. And then when you find it and it tells you that one, whisper back what we're supposed to do, and that's it.
And then we'll find that one, and
we'll
understand what you think.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm just mad that you don't seem to care about our listeners.
I love our listeners. Our listeners is why I do this.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't care about our listeners.
And that's why.
Which is why I just said the questionnaire. There is no questionnaire. I'm just going to come clean. There will never be a questionnaire. We're just going to both read the same
comic. If we get over 5,000 downloads, we will create a questionnaire.
I only questionnaire when we're over 10,000 listeners.
10,000. So
yeah.
when we hit 10,000 downloads, and people have called us out on this, we will have.
Do you think that's what Joe Rogan has? Do you think that's like armchair expert number of listeners?
I'm pretty sure they have more than 10,000.
Really? You think?
Yeah.
Per episode?
Per episode, yeah. I think they probably have honestly, I think Joe Rogan probably has over 100,000.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 10,000. That's a low bar. You know?
We can do it. I believe in us.
Yeah.
And what's gonna be funny though too is if people get into this podcast like halfway through and don't listen to the older episodes, just halfway through like they're listening to it.
Suddenly there's a questionnaire.
There's a questionnaire like, what is this about? They're like, come back to an older episode.
Yeah. Especially when we make the transition to like only talking about advertisements in comics. Like we just become a more niche. We become even more niche than we already are.
Yeah, we spend the entire time in sunglasses just looking off and just being like, money. Money.
Yeah.
Money.
And since you're listening to this and you can't tell what he's doing.
For those that can't tell what I'm doing is I'm looking up and to the right, away from the screen and camera.
Yep.
And I said the word money for 2 times. Then the third one, I looked directly at the screen and said money again.
They could hear you saying the words.
Yeah. But now they understand why I said the words.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So no questionnaire. And actually, we do care about our listeners and we want you to subscribe. So don't forget to subscribe. Like right now, we'll pause for a second while you do it. Hopefully that was enough time. And Eric, did you read any comics this week?
I did read a comics this week. I picked up a new comic series called Phantom Seer, is Phantom Seer. Yep.
So somebody's burning phantoms?
Well, he's a seer, but he's also got ghost-like powers, so he's a phantom.
So he's a phantom that like burned himself on the iron?
No, he's pretty not burnt actually.
Okay, all right. Oh, so he sees things. He's a seer.
He is a seer. Yes, he can see ghosts and dead people and stuff like that.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the plot is that the main character is the second most powerful seer / shaman in the entire world. And his goal is actually not to become the most powerful phantom / seer in the world. His goal is to no longer be a phantom seer because he doesn't like seeing the dead.
Okay.
He hates the job of having to like stop evil ghosts and everything, and he's just tired of it. But the big problem,
classic character who hates his job story.
Yeah, and his oldest sister, who's the most powerful phantom in the world, keeps on making him do it. So like whenever he tries to get out of it, she'll call like the person right next to him because she can like see him through like the ghost world and tell him put him on the phone. So like, he'll be walking away and they're like, "There's a man right next to you. Put him on the phone." So he gives him the phone. He's like, "I don't want to do it." Like, "You will do it, or else I'll keep on sticking people on you."
Okay, classic controlling sibling.
Yeah. So he finds a girl in her school who ghosts are naturally attracted to, so they're always going after her. And so he realizes he can use her to try to find a ghost that could take away his powers, because his goal is to find a specific ghost that can take away the ability to see ghosts in the future.
Okay.
And so he realizes that if he uses her, he'll eventually keep on finding more and more ghosts to eventually find the ghosts he needs.
How nice of him to use someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's upfront with her that like he eventually comes out upfront to her as to why he keeps on walking around with her. And he's like, "I need your help actually to find this person."
Okay.
And she wants to do it because she likes to help people. And a lot of times you have to rescue, so you're rescuing people like they're in peril because, you know, these ghosts are evil and stuff. So.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it. I mean, the storyline is.
You just stopped talking.
Well, that was the storyline. That was the storyline.
That is not the storyline.
Well, I mean, the storyline hasn't gone that far right yet. So like, there's no like big bad. There's no like overarching like goal. He's like, I'm gonna go. He's like, there's a ghost there. I'm gonna go find it. See if it's that person. Nope. Next episode, there's another ghost. I wonder if I can go find it. Nope, not it. And then he's done that 5 times.
That's it. That's the whole comic?
It's the whole comic.
Okay.
It's each episode or each issue is episodic right now, and
I don't even have any stupid questions for you. It doesn't sound like anything happened.
Nothing really has happened. It's just kind of fun. These guys because the guy's like, I don't want to do my job. You do your job, okay? But it goes.
So he's in school.
He's in school,
but he's like number 2 shaman / phantom in the world.
Yeah, but he just goes to a normal high school. He doesn't go like to like a.
How did he get to be so good at being a shaman / phantom?
When he was born, the most powerful demon tried to possess him, but he actually ended up possessing the demon because he was a baby.
Oh, so he's Harry Potter?
Yeah, effectively.
Okay. Does he have a piece of that demon's soul inside of him?
No, but he can summon that demon whenever he wants to. But he doesn't. But if the demon gets summoned and it doesn't kill another ghost or demon, it will eat his arm. Like, it'll eat a body part from him. Is the deal. So he has to. He can only summon it unless it's totally required.
I see. So he has a demon that has the munchies that you can call.
Yeah, effectively.
Okay. All right.
And his sister is so powerful that whenever he tries to get out doing work. So at one point he didn't want to rescue somebody. He's like, It's not the ghost I'm looking for, and started walking away. And she just kept on screaming at him through like the astral plane to go help.
Nice. So what's the artwork? Who's the art by?
The story is by Togo Goto, and the art is by Kento Matsura. And I thought the art was just really good. That's the probably part of it. Again, it's not colored because it's a manga, but it's done really, really well.
What style of manga is it? Because there's like 4 main styles, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to describe the main style. It's a shonen manga, so that's what it's based on. It's shonen.
You know shonen?
It's made. It is produced in the shonen, like official magazine.
Okay.
So it's mostly an action, somewhat comedy. Thus far it's just done well, and I think it's kind of funny. Just because it's got my favorite type of character, the character that doesn't want to do anything.
Classic.
Yeah. I mean, that character is found across all sports, all genres. So.
Right.
And anybody that's ever worked in a group project knows that one person too.
Okay, so it's shonen. Is there color?
There is color in the first couple of panels, and then if it keeps on going, they'll keep on doing it. But for the most part, it's just done. The shading is just done fantastically because the demon he possessed is the shadow demon.
Yeah.
So like everything's dark and stuff too. So it's one of the few mangas that like where there's more black than there is white actually, because like he just shades everything all the time. So it's done really
good.
well. Yeah.
Because usually you see it's like line art.
Mm-hmm. But so in this one, I would not be surprised if the way they do it actually is similar to how they did the Batman animated TV series, where they actually drew it on black paper.
Yeah.
This one, I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing.
I see. Okay. And what about the lettering?
Lettering is classic Shonen Jump, but it's still done actually. It actually is more
Western.
Descriptive and stuff too. Whereas so when the main character talks, it changes how it's spoken a little bit. It's a little bit more italicized and it's a little bit bigger.
Okay, different fonts then for each character.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So I thought it was done fantastically.
What about the je ne sais quoi?
The je ne sais quoi is
a French term.
It's a French term, yeah. Honestly, the reason why I keep on reading it is just because I'm waiting for a storyline, and thus far I've not gotten it.
Okay, that's pretty terrible.
But I'm enjoying it though too, because every single time it's like, oh, there's a ghost over there. Oh, nope, wrong ghost. You're dead.
Okay, so on a scale between sitting in, the Matrix, the second one or third one,
the architect guy,
where he's in the train station that like both tunnels go to the same train station stop, In like,
that'd be kind of fun though too. But like,
hold on, I'm not done.
Okay.
So you're stuck there, and there's Mark. Mark is there, and he has a comic book, and you have to flip the pages, and he'll read it.
Absolute hell. Absolute hell.
And so the only stimulation you have is like by flipping the pages and having Mark read. And the comic keeps changing. So like it is actually entertaining if you continue to flip the pages. But otherwise it's you're stuck there, right?
So that's the bad thing. That's the bad thing, obviously, because you're stuck flipping the pages.
Yeah,
and you're like, this is a terrible catchphrase.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on the high side, you're in the Matrix, but you don't know it, right? And you get to do a comedy podcast about comic books with your best friend. And Mark is there, and he loves my catchphrase. But everyone knows it's bad, and you call it out as being bad. And people are persuaded to your point of view. Okay, so between those two things.
I would rate it as doing a podcast with your best friend.
Okay.
But people might think that's actually a good catchphrase.
How dare you? Yeah, because obviously something's wrong with this comic if it doesn't have a plot yet.
No, it doesn't. I mean, there is a plot. It just hasn't like gone anywhere. Like it said the premise. I'm the second most powerful phantom seer in the world. I want to lose my powers. I hate my job. I'm going to go over there. Oh, no, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds great. So, Eric, this has been a fun podcast.
This has been a fun podcast. Thank you, Mark, for joining us.
Thank you to Marc Von Ahnen. Go on his Instagram page and read his Vampire Shark comics. They're super awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's got a Twitter page as well and a Facebook.
Yeah, and we had him on as a proper guest in episode, what'd you say, 11?
11.
Yeah. So if you Google him, and in the show notes we'll have links to all this stuff if you want to check it out.
Visit us on.
Yeah, his comics are awesome. And by the way, loved by Sam Raimi, famous director. So,
Sam Raimi would take it out and show to people.
Yeah. So that's how you know that you should go find it.
Next thing you know, he's the real deal.
Yeah. The really, really funny deal. Anyway. But Eric.
Where can they find us at, Keegan?
We're on dumbcomiccreators.com.
Go
on there. Yeah, make sure you read Death Maze 2. It just came out last week. Patreon.com/dumbcomiccreators. Eric, I have a secret for you.
What's your secret?
All the videos of this podcast have been put on Patreon up until this week.
Wow.
This week,
if they want to see our beautiful faces, they can go and see it there?
They could, or they can go to YouTube and watch our podcast on there. Because why the secrecy? Why the secrecy? You know?
Why the secrecy? Yeah, go on YouTube. Find it.
Everyone's on YouTube. Just get on there, and if you want to watch instead of listen, you can find them on there. And it's nicer because we screen share all the time, and you can actually see what we're talking about, I think. Not that this is a video podcast. This will never be a video podcast. Video podcasts are dumb.
Says the guy who's on two like visual media podcasts.
Well, I think people just want to hear about visual media. Radio is not going anywhere.
Radios are the future. I mean, also I also don't believe in the video game industry. I believe kids are all about the books. So, sorry, video game industry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Comic books are where it's at.
Comic books are where it's at.
Yeah. So, and finally, Instagram is at Dumb Comic Creators. Our at Death Maze Comics is a thing too. And you're not on Instagram, Eric, are you?
I am not. I'm only on the Facebook, and I barely even use that.
Maybe we'll get Eric on Instagram, but I'm at Keegan Shiner. You can follow me too. I don't really post. too often, but
I'm not on the Twitter either, even so.
You're not on anything.
Nope. I'm like a ghost, Phantom Seer.
Except now you're on the podcast. So
I'm now on the podcast.
You're very findable at this point. Eric, this has been fun.
It's been fantastic. Thanks again to Mark. Thank you,
Mark.
Keegan.
Thank you, Eric.
Bye.
Bye.